Good morning. So, coincidentally, I was asked on Friday to share, by a subscriber, Judy, to share my reptilian experience. And then last night, Anne Marie said in her video, what do you think of reptilians? And, basically, what's your experience or what's your thoughts on it? So, here we go. Evidently, it's time to share this. Now, I'm going to cover a couple of anomalous experiences in my life. I'm just going to go ahead and get them out there. Personally, I feel 9/11 energetically shifted this world. I don't know what happened, okay? I'm going to lean towards a portal of some kind was opened and lower energies got up in here that day. It was supposedly a ritual sacrifice to open a portal that CROWLEY started but did not finish before he died. It is rumored that it was successful, and I would say, given the way that the energies and things shifted after that, it probably was. The earth prior to that, for me, felt, it had a completely different energetic signature. I mean, it wasn't nearly as dismal. There wasn't nearly the amount of fear and just that. It was just different. It was like it was more natural. It feels as if this reality that we're in now is much more artificial than the one that I remember as a child. So, coincidentally enough, when 9/11 happened, my grandmother, my dad's mom, she was just like, they were devout Bible beaters, so, we got issues there. But her whole thing was, that's the end of this is the start of the, apocalypse or whatever it is, and, the tribulation or whatever they call it, and, she dropped dead 2 weeks later. But, she's like, I don't want to live anymore. I ain't going to live through that. I don't want to see that, okay? I'm serious. And, she and my grandpa, they've been married about 60 years, and they went to Florida every winter because she had really bad fibromyalgia and the heat made her feel better. Well, anyways, on the drive down there, she told him, because they lived in an old folks community, and so she knew that those women would be fighting over him, because it's mainly widowed women. And so she told him, when I die, I want you to marry Madeline. That's the only one that you're allowed to marry. And she dropped dead 3 days after they got down there. He went out to the grocery store for 15 minutes. He came home. She was dead. I swear she probably did it so that she wouldn't die in front of him. And, they really did have, like the ideal relationship. Now, their children, they did some lacking there. There's something missing there. But, mental health-wise. But that's beside the point. Okay, so after 9/11, I started, to have some strange experiences. Now, during my marriage, I did not have very many. And I've got some questions there as to whether or not I had a walk-in with me during my marriage to help me, like another being in my body with me, to help me endure the trauma of that. That was bad. My ex-husband is a very, very, very deep down good person. But he is damaged, and his parents damaged him in a way that it's just terrible. And I tried very hard to try to fix that little boy. And I've made some progress, but anyways, it's been a long 16 years. Okay, so in December of 2001, me and my boyfriend at the time, my college boyfriend that we dated a couple years, I was in college, and we lived together for like the second year. And his brother and his wife and his sister, no, excuse me, our friend Mike and his girlfriend Allison. We were carpooling we went snow skiing. We would go on weekend snow trips. His family had a house in Canaan Valley, which is like 3 hours away from our house, okay? So we're carpooling, you know, the brothers up front, then us in the middle, and then the friends in the back. Okay, so about a couple miles, we're like mile marker 90 or so. It's in between the 90s and 100s, and we see an entire mountainside on fire, okay? I mean, I'm not kidding. The entire hill beside the interstate. Like if you're driving, if you've ever driven in West Virginia, you know, there are just hills. I mean, the entire hill is flaming. The whole thing, flames. I mean, we're thinking we're going to get delayed because, you know, you can't see the road necessarily. You know, you can't see the road up ahead, but you can see this fire. So we're thinking we're going to get delayed. There's going to be, you know, there's no one there. And the whole thing's just flaming. And we're like, should we call somebody and all this? Well, this was back before, you know, cell phones were good and all this. And so we decided that we were going to, you know, go to where we were going. And then we were going to ask the people that we were with and then, you know, whatever. And we figured, you know, hey, somebody else will call somebody. It's that big. Okay. So we get to where we're going. None of them saw it. And so, you know, me and him are like, well, we both saw it, so we know it was there. I mean, it's crazy that they didn't see it, you know, because, like, you know, maybe they were fighting or something. I mean, but it was really kind of hard to miss. But, okay, whatever. But then when we came home, we looked, you know, the whole way back for a scorched mountain and never saw any sign of a fire. I don't know. So then let's see, so we broke up. I moved back home. I've been going to Marshall, and then so I was done going there, and so I moved back home, and I moved in with my high school boyfriend, who turned out to be gay. You know, like, I knew he was gay when we were in high school, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, he'd come out of the closet, and so we moved in together, and we lived together for a few years, but before I got married. But he had these little brothers that were like 20 years younger than him, and the oldest one, when he was about 3 or 4, weird things would happen. Like their house caught fire, and the kid had to have done it, but he swears he didn't do it. Like some being did it. And then he would get beside the mom's bed and chant like words, and they were looking up these words, and they turned out to be real words, and they were affiliated with satanic stuff. It was crazy. Okay, so he says one day that his brother took him out to a hole in the wall, and in the outside their house, and he said the bad guys come out of here. It's like a hole in a mountainside. Well, he brought home something. Okay, he brought home an unseen energy, what I would call a demon. From that night on, which, I mean, it took us a couple days to figure out, but from that night on, at 3 o'clock in the morning, things would happen in our house. All of our blinds would shoot up at one time. Our electronics would start, like clocks would start going like this, or like the numbers on them like start changing. One time a stemware glass we kept on our refrigerator, it flew off the fridge, broke perfectly, but it was like a dagger. It you know, and it's like, okay, we're gonna have to get rid of this thing. I mean, the noises, it sounded like it sounded like it was throwing our bathtubs out. And then both of us experienced one night where it felt like it was jumping on us. And he would come, and so my parents, you know, my parents and my husband, I was dating the man that I was going to marry. He would say that you know, Ray was a prankster. He was a prankster. He was. I mean, you know, and so he's just playing pranks on you. It's like, but no, these pranks he couldn't have orchestrated. Okay, these weren't, and he was terrified. He would come in with his comfort wrapped around. Ginger, will you come in and sleep with me? It's in here again. And like, it was like 2 or 3 weeks. And I finally decided we're going to have to look up how to exercise this thing. We're going to have to get rid of it. Well, of course, he made me do it. But I did exorcise it. I exorcised it in the name of Jesus Christ. Now, the reason that works, I have found out. Okay, the demiurge, which is the AI that runs this place, runs this world. Like, there's AI that runs this world, but our consciousness, our being, has been sucked in here, and we don't belong here, okay? So anyways, but the AI is trying to keep us here because we keep it running, and so, like, it brainwashes us and programs us and all these things. Okay. So there are beings, there are humans, lots of them, that are just fully, they're empty, and the AI, runs through them. They're soulless. Okay. Now, the AI runs religion, okay? And Yahweh is Yaldabaoth, which was the creator of the demiurge, maybe the demiurge itself. Okay. Jesus and Satan both run by the demiurge, okay? So demons work on this side, and then you got the Christ side. So, but the goal is to get the souls programmed. Either way, both programs will take you to the demiurge, okay? So, when you say in the name of Jesus Christ, it's like, oh, we've already got this one. We need to move on. They want all souls. They want to take all souls, okay? So, if you use your own name, it'll work too. And it's actually more effective, I've heard. Not come across any demons. Don't really want to. But I will try it next time if I do. Okay. Now, had I not had that experience, I would have never thought that those kinds of things happened. Now, I didn't have any other very anomalous. I mean, I had a couple little things, but nothing crazy until after my husband and I had separated. And so we separated in January 2014. So in August of 2014, I had begun dating a guy, and I was living with a woman. She was my best friend. I mean, she was like 20 years older than me, and she had cancer, and she passed away in 2016. But she was my roommate, and one of her friends brought a friend with him one day, and when I first met that guy, he was like, oh, I came here for you. I remember that's what he said, and I thought, okay, that's weird. But, I mean, I thought, well, okay. Anyways, so we'd been going out about a month, and I really liked this guy. He was different than any other guy that I'd ever known. But now I kind of question things, see things a little bit different. But he had gotten into a disagreement with the man across the hall. It wasn't the hall. It was like a courtyard. You open the apartment door and it went to the outside. But the guy that lived across the yard, they had gotten into a fight. I don't know what they were fighting about, but I heard him out there screaming. And so by the time I get out there, I get up in the dude's face, and right about that time, another eyelid comes out of the side on both eyes. These eyelids come out. And I'm like, am I seeing that right? Okay. But I maintained the eye contact, and he like snapped out of it. Like I could feel the snapping out of it. And then like they went back, And then he came back kind of like, what's going on? Like he wasn't, he knew he was mad at the guy. But it's like, I don't know how long it wasn't him during that interaction. It's hard. Yeah. Okay. So, now at this point, I'd never heard of a reptilian shapeshifter or anything. Now, there's some other things that are weird about this guy. We only dated like 2 more weeks after that, but we didn't actually officially break up. He got into another altercation with some law enforcement officers. I don't know exactly what happened. All I know is he ended up incarcerated for 5 years. And he recently got out and freaking messaged me and asked me for money. It's like, are you kidding me? But the universe intervened with me on that one because I didn't need to boot that guy. Okay. But he was weird. There were some weird things that I've thought about, like the couple times that we had sex, he wasn't into sex. He only wanted like missionary, and it was very strange. And he wanted my knowledge. he was obsessed with listening to me talk, and he wanted to know everything. And I know why. He wanted to put it in the hive mind. But I didn't know that then. Okay, so a year later, this is May 2015, me and Juliet's dad are dating at this point. We met in like January 2015. And we broke up in like 2016, like about 18 months later. But anyways, and then I found out I was pregnant, but that's neither here nor there. That's a weird story, but so he likes to smoke weed. You know, I like to smoke weed too sometimes. I mean, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't cognitively affect me. It doesn't do anything to me. Like, I don't feel stoned. I don't feel different. I mean, but it does alleviate the tension in my back. And if I'm having like a panic attack and stuff, it has actually helped me with that. So I'm not, you know, I think intention when it comes to even taking pharmaceuticals or any kind of drug is really important. If your intention is to numb out, then that's what you're going to do. But if your intention is to maintain your conscious awareness, you're just simply trying to alleviate a physical pain. It doesn't alter your mind as much. Now, I'm not saying that it doesn't alter your mind some, but I don't know. It's very different. And I feel that some of us have, some of us have more awareness, may not be affected by some of these things. But that's not what this is about. Okay, so a year later, I'm going to buy this weed for the boyfriend from this guy that lived down the street. And been dealing with him about 6 months or whatever. So he gets spooked during this. Hi, sweetie. He gets spooked during this deal, right? And so I see those eyelids come out again. But this time his face right in here, it started like pixel. It started like dissolve. It was like green and black and stuff. I mean, it was snake skin coming through, like reptile skin. And it was like, and I must have had the craziest look. He saw that I saw, and he like ran away, and I've never seen that guy again. Actually, no, I did see him one time at the Go Mart, and he said hello to me, and he gave me like this weird look, like, are you gonna? And I was just like, hey, what's up? And I just kept on going, and he kind of like seemed relieved, like maybe he thought I didn't remember or something, I don't know. But, now, these are just like regular people, regular citizens among us. I don't know if, there may be a hybridized version and maybe they don't full-blown shapeshift. Some of them may know, some of them don't. It is my comprehension that somehow they have to eat humans to do the molecular switching. Like they have to get the human molecules in them in order to be able to, I don't know, or to be able to get to our frequency. Like consuming flesh can send you to that frequency. I don't know. I do know that I had never heard of a reptilian at that time. And had I not seen these things, I would have never felt that these things were actually, true or what have you. One other thing I had as a child, I had an extremely irrational fear of gray aliens. I would not go outside after dark. I was afraid to look back behind me after dark. I knew one would be standing there. If I woke up in the middle of the night, I would not open my eyes because I was afraid one would be looking at me through the window. I've never experienced sleep paralysis. I've never seen anything like that. I've never, but I don't know. I don't know if I was trying to avoid those experiences or if that was my child way of saying I don't consent to that. To the extent that I ever even knew that they existed, I think I only saw like Unsolved Mysteries on it like once or twice. There wasn't the internet or anything. But I mean, I was obsessed. I was irrationally afraid of those things for at least 5 to 8 years. So from the time I was probably her age and, about 5 until 10 at least. So I don't know. And then after we moved out of the house that I was in, you know, at the time that I grew up in, it was more in a more isolated area, I suppose, where an abduction would be easier to do. I never did. I lost that fear. Never thought about that, but I don't know. Maybe I'll write a book one day. I need somebody to write it for me, though. I don't like to write. I just need to talk. Have a good day. Bye. I like to watch my videos back before I post them, and one thing I wanted to mention, a couple things I wanted to mention. Okay. First off, just because I'm like telling you that religion and the Bible need to be questioned, that does not mean that there are not higher powers and that there are not all-loving forces that are attempting to assist humanity, because there is a benevolent energy of good that has saved me in multiple times. I have seen miraculous things, and you know, I'll do videos on that one day too. I'm actually trying to like notate some of my experiences. I really am thinking about writing a book. But so my point is that, you know, when the Bible says the kingdom of God is within, it means it, you know, it is within. And we are whole and we are perfectly imperfect as we are. Okay? I mean, most soul beings are good beings. I mean, it's this society that is sick. It's not us. I mean, you know, it's not our fault that we can't cope very well here and things like that. But once we become aware of what's going on, we need to address it, and we need to try to deal with it and face it head on, because things won't go away until you confront them. Okay, so religion it's trying to get you to seek validation and need an external source. Like it all this programming is about getting you to doubt yourself and to make you feel incomplete and and that's just, it's crap. It's crap. And absolutely there are higher powers. And if you feel that force that I'm talking about, that good force at work, you know, I used to call that God, but I don't think that's the right name. I don't know exactly what force that is, but it's something that I've felt as a child. I mean, I can almost literally feel it in the air. I can't explain it. 20 years I did actually devoutly, you know, I wholeheartedly followed Christianity, and I have read the Bible backwards and forwards. I was obsessed with reading the Bible as a child too, which was really weird. And I had problems with it. I had problems with parts of it, and I know why now. But while I was under that programming, I did lose connection with that force of good. I mean, that force of good that I'm talking about may be the connection with the soul. Or I don't know. I mean, we exist outside of here. And we were sucked into this reality against our will. We were imprisoned here. Now, and I'm talking about from the real world into the artificial matrix system. Now, all the dimensions, like first, second, third, all the way, at least 12, those are all within the artificial reality. And the higher you go, you know, the more heavenly they are. And so you know you're in a fake place, but you don't really want to leave. Now, I do think that I know that I was in a higher dimension. And I came down here voluntarily. I came voluntarily to Earth. But as far as getting sucked into, I did not voluntarily come into this artificial reality, if that makes sense. And another thing occurred to me with the reptilians and needing to eat humans to maintain a form. What if they are eating humans in fast foods like McDonald's and these processed foods and all that. I mean, there are a bunch of people that go missing every year and their bodies aren't found. Now, of course, there are ways to dispose of bodies where they wouldn't be found, but, like a hog will eat everything with the teeth, stuff like that. But still, it has been reported that human remains have been found in every McDonald's factory in existence. So, that place is now, I won't eat there. My son won't eat there. No, who knows what pink slime is? Brains? Oh, dear. So, it's possible that maybe the masses are getting enough human. I don't know how much they'd need. Weird. Have a good day.